You touched on one thing I'd love to highlight a little bit, and that's insurance reimbursement, because this is a consistent question. I'm sure you get it from young docs and students all the time. Do I take insurance? Do I not take insurance? Should I be a cash practice? That sounds really hard compared to taking insurance. And there's probably a modicum of truth in all of the preconceived notions people bring to the table. But with your experience as new docs ask you that, how do you approach and answer?
Okay, perfect. First and foremost, I think most young chiropractors, when they first start out, are horrible at starting their businesses. So I interviewed in my own podcast a wonderful commercial real estate agent, a broker, like he owns a large firm. And we were talking about dentists and other professionals and how they start looking for commercial property, either purchase or lease. And I said, well, so when do they start? When they're students? He said, these dentists primarily, uh, they start their search early compared to chiropractors. So when are they starting looking for commercial property? When are they starting to look for whether they can purchase or lease and all that stuff? He's like, oh, like a year, maybe even 2 years before they graduate. And I just started laughing. I'm like, a lot of these chiropractors are, if it's not after they graduate and they're like, oh crap, I need to find a place to practice, it might be a week or two, a month or two before they graduate that they start actually planning for their business future. So once again, let's introduce another binary. You're either entrepreneurial or you're not. And many people who think they are actually are not and should not be. Now, there's an uncomfortable truth in that this profession doesn't have a lot of room for you in the job market if you are not entrepreneurial, and no one has the, is this a PG podcast? No one has the chutzpah to say, sorry, there isn't a big job market out there. You're either going to have to be an entrepreneur and eat what you kill, or you're going to starve. Okay. So let's go back to this. A lot of chiropractors are very bad at starting their business. They're very bad at choosing location. They're very bad at planning ahead of time. They're very bad at planning to scale or setting up an environment where they can scale 6 months, a year, 2 years after they open their practice. A lot of them are just trying to open the doors, hang up a shingle, and hope people show up right out the gate. And then they learn that lesson really hard that they messed up. So let's go back to the original question. What kind of advice would I give when it comes to insurance and those things? It would be, you probably chose a bad scenario. So accept as much as you possibly can within reason. Like if we don't get like antitrust type issues here, but obviously if there's a negotiation, if there's something on the table that is absolutely horrible, don't get into that kind of contractual agreement. But you have to take as many contractual agreements as you possibly can, because you don't know what you're dealing with. I'll take my first practice, for example, my first personal practice, for example, in my hometown of Rio Grande, California, go Eagles, evolved into sort of a retirement community, like a very wealthy baby boomer retirement type of community. So either everybody had so much money they were sliding down the hill to the store with it, like a slip and slide of cash, or B, they were on Medicare. And if you were naive to the Medicare option, you probably eliminated, I don't know, 60% of your patients, while the others were paying plenty cash and they were plenty happy. Now, the realities of Medicare are that most of those patients are also cash patients, except for the spinal adjustment, right? So you were eliminating a huge amount of business. But I just showed up to that community thinking I'm just going to be cash and just run a cash practice. It took me a couple of years to realize, after listening to patients say, well, I have this Medicare, I have this Medicare, I have this Medicare. Oh, I should probably be taking that, and missed a huge opportunity at the very beginning of practice to really get off on a great foot. So you don't know. Maybe here in Oregon, what you would call the state insurance, I guess sort of a Medicaid type thing, the Oregon Health Plan, actually pays really, really equitably for rehab-based procedures. They want you to get these patients active and moving again, and they will reward you for that as a provider. But based on stigma, people aren't accepting or signing up to be organ share, whatever you want to call it, Medicaid providers, and they're missing a huge boat. So my advice is take as much as you can in the beginning that is reasonable, and then as you go, set yourself up on a reassessment plan every year, every 2 years, and start to slough off the things that you no longer want to be part of, until you're down to just cash.
Hey, it's Dr. Jason. I just want to take a brief moment and invite you to schedule a demo with our team to learn more about our patient pilot automated email campaigns. They are the smartest way to reactivate the people you've seen over the years in the past. Check it out, schedule a demo. We look forward to helping you help more people and piloting your patients back into your practice.
Thank you so much for watching this video on the Smart Chiropractor. To not miss a single thing that's clinically oriented, marketing oriented, or more, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel today.